Life is happening right now. Not tomorrow, not someday, not in the distant future when things are more convenient, but right now. Every second is slipping through your fingers, whether you're aware of it or not. The cruel reality is that time does not wait for hesitation, fear, or indecision. It moves relentlessly forward, carving your story in stone while you stand still. And the harshest truth of all, comfort is quietly stealing your destiny. Comfort whispers that you have more time, that you can wait, that maybe one day you'll finally step into the life you were meant to live. But comfort is a lie. It seduces you into settling, into drifting, into believing that good enough is acceptable when deep down you know you were created for more. What keeps people chained is not a lack of resources, not even a lack of talent. It is the lack of powerful questions. Most people never demand more from themselves because they never dare to ask questions that shake the ground beneath their feet. They ask weak questions, the kind that protect the ego and avoid discomfort. Why is this happening to me? When will things get easier? Why can't someone just fix it for me? But weak questions produce weak lives. They trap you in circles, repeating the same patterns, convincing yourself that you're moving when you're only spinning. If you want to break free, if you want to rise above the ordinary, then you must replace weak questions with powerful ones. A powerful question is like fire. It burns away illusions and leaves only truth behind. It forces you to confront your choices, your actions, and your beliefs. It doesn't let you hide. It doesn't allow excuses. It pulls you into the raw confrontation with yourself, the kind most people run from because it hurts to see who you really are becoming. Yet in that pain lies the doorway to transformation. The moment you dare to ask a powerful question, something shifts inside you. Suddenly, you see the lies you've been telling yourself. You notice the wasted hours, the dreams you buried, the strength you never used. You begin to realize that the only thing standing between you and the life you hunger for is your own unwillingness to face the truth. And that realization, though heavy, is liberating. Because once you see the chains, you can break them. Once you admit you've been drifting, you can seize the wheel. Powerful questions cut deep. They don't ask you to justify. They demand you to decide. They don't care about your excuses, your fears, or your comfort zones. They care only about the truth of who you are and who you are becoming. The quality of your life, the depth of your relationships, the strength of your character, the impact you leave on this world. Everything rises or falls based on the question you ask yourself. So understand this. If your life feels stuck, if your dreams feel distant, if your spirit feels restless, it is not because life has denied you opportunity. It is because you have not yet dared to ask the questions that could rip you out of complacency and thrust you into growth. The life you crave is not waiting for answers. It is waiting for better questions. Questions with the power to wake you up. Questions with the courage to demand change. Questions that will strip away your excuses and force you to step into the greatness you've been avoiding. The journey begins here, and it begins now. Every moment of your life is sculpting you. Every choice, every thought, every action, and every hesitation is carving the person you are becoming. The question is not who you were yesterday, not who people think you are, not even who you wish to be in some distant tomorrow. The question is this: who are you becoming right now? Most people never ask this. They think identity is something fixed, something etched in stone, as if who they are today is who they must always be. But identity is not permanent. It is fluid, alive, shifting with the decisions you make and the standards you set. With each passing day, you are either evolving into someone greater or dissolving into someone smaller. There is no middle ground. You are never standing still. Look closely at your habits. Look at the way you speak to yourself in silence. Look at how you spend your time, the people you allow into your world, the thoughts you replay in your mind. All of these things are not just shaping your days, they are shaping your destiny. If you continue on your current path, where will it take you? Will it lead you to strength, to mastery, to the fulfillment of everything you were meant to be? Or will it lead to regret, to mediocrity, to the slow erosion of your potential? This question pierces because it refuses to let you hide behind illusions. You cannot claim you are striving for greatness while your actions betray you. You cannot declare you want freedom while your habits keep you enslaved. You cannot speak of growth while you settle for excuses. Who you are becoming is revealed not in your intentions, but in your daily patterns. And that truth is unavoidable. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you are becoming stronger. Every time you choose courage over fear, you are becoming bolder. Every time you choose honesty over self-deception, you are becoming wiser. But every time you surrender to laziness, every time you bow to fear, every time you betray your own word, you are becoming weaker, smaller, more distant from the life you were created to live. The painful reality is that you do not ask this question now. Life will force you to face it later, when it's too late to change. One day, you will look in the mirror and realize that the person staring back is not the person you dreamed of becoming, but the sum total of compromises, procrastinations, and unchallenged habits. That realization is one of life's heaviest burdens. But you can choose differently. You can decide right now to become intentional about who you are shaping yourself into. This is not about perfection. It is about direction. Ask yourself, are my actions pulling me closer to my vision or pushing me further away? Are my habits sharpening me into the kind of person I respect or dulling me into someone I pity? Am I becoming someone who inspires or someone who disappoints? These are not questions meant to crush you. They are meant to awaken you. They are meant to remind you that the future is not something you wait for. It is something you build. And it begins with this single, powerful truth. That the person you are becoming is the person you will live with for the rest of your life. Make sure it is someone worth living with. Every life has invisible weights that hold it down. Not the great disasters, not the catastrophic failures, but the small, constant tolerations that slowly drain power from within. The question is not what you dream of, not even what you desire. The question is, what are you tolerating? Because what you tolerate defines the boundaries of your life. Think carefully. Every day, you allow something to remain in your world that weakens you. It may be a toxic thought that plays on repeat in your mind. It may be a habit that chips away at your strength. It may be relationships that rob you of energy, environments that poison your spirit, or excuses you cling to when responsibility feels too heavy. These things rarely scream, they whisper. They whisper so softly, you convince yourself they are harmless. But slowly they erode your will, they dilute your vision, and they numb your hunger for more. The truth is, toleration is silent surrender. Every time you accept less than what you deserve, you teach yourself to settle. Every time you ignore the weight pressing on your soul, you tell yourself it is easier to endure than to rise. But endurance without change is not strength. It is quiet defeat. You cannot create a life of greatness while you secretly make peace with mediocrity. So ask yourself, what am I tolerating? What pain have I grown so accustomed to that I no longer even notice it? What limitation have I labeled? Just the way things are. What lie have I repeated so often it now feels like truth? These are the prisons we build without bars, the cages we lock ourselves into, and then pretend we cannot escape. But here is the shift the moment you recognize what you are tolerating. You reclaim power. Awareness is the first step toward freedom. When you finally admit that you are tolerating procrastination or fear or an unhealthy environment, you cannot unsee it. The choice becomes clear. You either continue to allow it or you gather the strength to end it. And in that decision, your future is forged. Consider this. The greatest breakthroughs often come not from adding something new to your life, but from cutting away what no longer serves you. Growth is not just about reaching for more. It is about refusing to carry dead weight into your future. Ask yourself, what if today was the day you stopped tolerating mediocrity in your health, your relationships, your dreams? What if today you drew a line in the sand and said no more? The moment you do, everything begins to change. This question is not comfortable, and it is not meant to be. It is meant to provoke. It is meant to sting. Because until you feel the sting of your tolerations, you will not rise against them. Do not underestimate the cost of what you allow. Every toleration takes from you your time, your focus, your energy, your spirit. But the moment you declare that you will no longer live beneath your own potential, you begin to walk lighter. You begin to breathe deeper. You begin to live freer. Ask yourself with honesty, ask yourself with courage. What am I tolerating that I should no longer accept? And then decide. Because freedom begins the second you say, enough is enough. Fear is the unseen chain that binds more dreams than failure ever could. It hides in silence, it lurks in hesitation, and it whispers in your mind every time you dare to imagine a bigger life. Fear is not always loud. Often, it disguises itself as logic, as caution, as reason. It tells you to wait until you are ready, until you know more, until the path is safe. But the truth is brutal. Fear is not protecting you. Fear is controlling you. So ask yourself with unflinching honesty, what fear controls me? Is it the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of judgment, the fear of being exposed is not enough? Or is it the fear of success itself, the fear that if you rise, if you grow, if you shine too brightly, others will turn away or you will no longer recognize yourself? Fear takes many shapes, but its goal is always the same: to shrink you, to silence you, to keep you from stepping into the fullness of your own power. The tragedy is not that people are afraid. Fear is natural, woven into survival itself. The tragedy is that most never challenge it. They build entire lives around avoiding fear, designing choices that keep them safe, but also keep them small. They do not risk, they do not stretch, they do not leap, because fear whispers that falling would be fatal. But the irony is this: the act of avoiding fear is what slowly kills the spirit. The death announcement happens gradually as dreams fade, as potential withers. What if replaces a life of I did, and naming your fear is the first act of rebellion against it. When you drag it out of the shadows and call it what it is, its grip weakens. Fear feeds on silence and denial. It thrives in the dark. But when you look in the eye, you realize that most of what you feared was an illusion, a phantom created by your mind to protect you from imagined pain. The rejection you dread may never come. The failure you avoid may be the very thing that teaches you the strength to succeed. The judgment you fear may exist only in the opinions of those too afraid to try themselves. Understand this: fear is not the enemy. Fear is the compass. Wherever you feel the deepest fear is often where the greatest growth is waiting. Fear does not point to weakness, it points to opportunity. The thing you are most afraid to confront is the very thing that will free you once you face it. And the difference between those who transform their lives and those who stay trapped is simple. One group allows fear to dictate their choices. The other group uses fear as a signal for where they must go. So again, ask yourself, what fear controls me? And more importantly, what has that fear already cost me? How many chances have you abandoned? How many dreams have you buried? How many times have you silenced your own voice because fear convinced you to wait? The weight of fear is heavy, but it is a weight you can put down. The moment you choose courage over control, fear loses its power. Fear will always exist, but it does not have to rule you. You cannot banish it, but you can master it. And when you do, the prison doors, there are two questions that cut deeper than most people dare to answer. The first, what do I truly want? The second, what price am I willing to pay for it? These two questions stand as the gatekeepers of transformation. Until you answer them, you will wander in circles, chasing distractions instead of destiny. Too many people live lives that are not their own. They chase goals that belong to society, to family expectations, to the voices of others telling them what success should look like. They follow the script they were handed instead of writing their own. But deep down, there is a truth that cannot be silenced. Every soul knows what it craves. Every heart has a vision, a dream, a fire that refuses to die. The problem is not that people don't know what they want. It's that they don't allow themselves to admit it, because the moment you admit what you truly want, the illusion shatters. You can no longer hide behind comfort. You can no longer pretend you're satisfied with less. So the question lingers, what do you truly want? Not what you think is possible. Not what feels safe. Not what others expect. What do you want with every fiber of your being? Until you name it, you will never reach it. Clarity is power. Without it, you are a wanderer. With it, you become unstoppable. But clarity alone is not enough. Wanting is cheap. Dreams without commitment are fantasy. That's why the second question strikes harder. What price are you willing to pay? Every vision demands sacrifice. Every goal requires a trade. You cannot have growth without discomfort, success without struggle, transformation without tearing away the old. If you are not willing to pay the price, then your dream will remain forever out of reach. Ask yourself, what am I prepared to give up? Am I willing to surrender comfort for discipline? Am I willing to trade short-term pleasure for long-term fulfillment? Am I willing to walk away from people who hold me back, to endure the judgment of those who don't understand, to risk failure on the path toward greatness? If the answer is no, then your desire is just a wish. But if the answer is yes, if you are willing to sacrifice, then you hold the key to unlocking everything you seek. This is where most people falter. They want the reward, but not the struggle. They want the outcome, but not the journey. They want the life, but not the sacrifice that builds it. But nothing comes without cost. You cannot expect transformation while clinging to everything that keeps you the same. The question is not if you can achieve it. The question is if you will pay the price to achieve it. The beauty is that the price is always worth it. The sweat, the sacrifice, the discomfort, they all fade. But the pride of knowing you became who you were meant to be never fades. The regret of never trying, of never demanding more, of never stepping into your own greatness, that regret lasts forever. So here lies the truth. Life will give you exactly what you are willing to pay for. Nothing more, nothing less. The question is not whether the dream is possible. The question is whether you are willing to endure what it demands. And only when you answer yes, fully, fiercely, unapologetically, will the path open before you. 5 questions. That's all it takes to turn the mirror inward and confront the truth you have been avoiding. Who am I becoming? What am I tolerating? What fear controls me? What do I truly want? What price am I willing to pay? These are not idle thoughts. These are not casual reflections. These are the questions that separate the few who rise from the many who remain chained. They demand courage. They demand honesty. And they demand action. Because knowing the questions is not enough. Awareness without action is nothing more than self-deception. You can sit in silence, not in agreement, and even feel inspired for a moment, but until you act, nothing changes. The gap between who you are and who you are meant to be will not close on its own. It will not shrink with time. It will not disappear with wishful thinking. It will close only when you decide that the life you are living is no longer enough. You must understand this. No one is coming to save you. No miracle is waiting to appear. No circumstance will perfectly align to give you permission. The world does not hand greatness to those who wait. It gives it to those who demand it. And the demand begins with you, with the moment you stop asking for permission to live fully and start taking responsibility for the life you are building. The time for hesitation is over. The clock is ticking, and every second you spend delaying is another second you can never reclaim. The future will arrive whether you are ready or not. The only question is, will you meet it as the person you are, or the person you have the potential to become? Do not underestimate the power of a single decision. One decision to stop tolerating excuses. One decision to confront your fear instead of running from it. One decision to name what you truly want and commit to paying the price for it. Transformation does not require years of waiting. It requires the courage to decide right now. The truth is simple. Life will not change until you do. If you want freedom, you must fight for it. If you want growth, you must sacrifice for it. If you want transformation, you must step into the fire of discomfort and let it burn away who you were, so that who you were meant to be can emerge. This is not easy. It is not painless, but it is worth it always. So stand at this crossroads and choose. You continue as you are, safe, comfortable, but unfulfilled, or you can ask the questions, answer them with brutal honesty, and then take the actions that will set your soul on fire. The choice is yours, and it has always been yours. The time is not tomorrow. The time is not someday. The time is now. The questions have been asked. The answers are waiting. The path is open. Step onto it with conviction. Step onto it knowing that your life will never be the same again. Ignite the transformation. Become unstoppable. Live the life that was always waiting for you.